from the October-November 2022 paper 4, variant 3, Cambridge 0580 IGCSE paper. This question here in part 2A is all about the rules of indices. Somebody asked me about part 3, but I'm going to go through all of them just to make sure that everyone understands and to make the video complete. So first of all, we have to multiply these two numbers, which are in index form. And when we multiply two numbers in index form, we use the rule that when we have two numbers with the same base in index form, we add their powers. So a to the power of m times a to the power of n, you add the powers, okay, for us to get the answer. And the reason being is because p to the power of 3 means p times p times p, and p times 2p to the power of 11 means p times p by itself all the way 11 times. So altogether, if you wrote it out in full, you'd have 14 p's multiplied by each other, which can be written as p to the power of 14. So that's the reason you add the powers. So it's p to the power of 3 plus 11, which is p to the power of 14. And here, when we divide two numbers in index form, first of all, we have these coefficients in front of them, just divide them. So 18 divided by 3, we can do 18 divided by 3, that gives you 6. And then you have m to the power of 6 divided by m to the power of 2. You're going to subtract the powers, so you're going to have 6 minus 2, which is 4. Because when you are dividing them, okay, it's like here you'll have m to the power of 6 over m to the power of 2. 2 of the m's will cancel out, so you'll have m to the power of 4 left, okay, because 2 of them will cancel out. So that's why you subtract the powers. Now, this is the question that was asked, really, by the student that he was confused about, probably. So here we have a negative and a fractional power. So what I would do first is I would deal with the negative power. When you have something raised to a negative power, okay, a to the power of negative n, basically you write that as its reciprocal, it would be 1 over a to the power of n. If it's a fraction, for example, p over q to the power of negative n, you write this as the reciprocal, so you turn it upside down, so it becomes q over p, and then that becomes a positive power, okay? So you don't flip the power, you flip the fraction. So I'm going to write this as 64 over 27x to the power of 9, y to the power of 27, all raised to the power of positive 1/3 now. Okay, so now I'm going to deal with these separately, okay? First of all, when you're dealing with numbers like 64 to the power of 1/3, what we should understand is something to the power of 1/3, okay, means the cube root of that thing. The denominator is the root and the numerator is the power. It means cube root of that thing raised to the power of 1. So this means the cube root of 64 over. Now, when you're dealing with the number underneath, the 27, I'm going to also, this power of 1/3 is relating to both the numerator and the denominator, okay, the whole fraction. So I'm going to also find the cube root of the denominator. So for the 27, I'll write it as a cube root of 27. Okay, that's easy with numbers. But for the algebraic terms, I'll keep that as x to the power of 9 and y to the power of 27 to the power of 1/3. Okay, why? Because with algebraic terms, I like to deal with them. If you have something raised to a power, to another power, you multiply the powers. Okay, we multiply these powers. So the cube root of 64 is 4. The cube root of 27 is 3. And if you do x to the power of 9, if you multiply 9 and 1/3, you're going to get 3. 9 times 1/3 is 3. So it's going to be x to the power of 3. And if you do y to the power of 27 to the power of 1/3, you multiply the 27 and the 1/3. 27 times 1/3 is 9. So you have y to the power of 9. And there we have the simplified form of our answer. That's x to the power of 3, y to the power of 9. That's 4 over 3 times, and in the denominator, x to the power of 3, y to the power of 9. There's the answer to that question. This was the question that the student was asking about. So for numbers, I like to deal with them in terms of roots and powers. So to the power of 1/3 means the cube root of. Okay, but for letters, terms, I like to deal with them in terms of this law of indices. You multiply the powers, okay, when you raise something which is to a power to another power, you multiply the powers. So 9 times 1/3, 3, 27 times 1/3, 9, and you get your answer. Okay, 4 over 3, x cubed, y to the power of 9. And that concludes part A, which is all about indices. Now, part B is about sequences. Okay, and I think that's, we've also got part D. In fact, what I'll do is I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, why? Because I will save this under the topic of laws of indices. Okay, and part B, if I answer it, that will be under the topic of sequences. That way, the topic will be split up. So other questions from this particular paper, including part B of this question, can be found in the playlist that will appear in this section over here. Other questions dealing with the laws of indices and exponential equations can be found in the playlist that will appear over here. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on this link, and you can find other things in my channel that you might be interested in and learn how to navigate through my channel by watching this video that I've linked at the top here. Thank you for watching and see you soon.